So, that's the worst part of it. Or when you don't think your dad's proud of you, that's I knew that he was when.
I think what I remember most about films is the people that I've worked with rather than the film itself.
At the age of 80, Sam Elliott's name has resurfaced in headlines, not for a new film or television role, but because of a controversial list that's allegedly exposing the 6 actors he reportedly cannot stand. The internet has exploded with speculation, fueling a wildfire of fan theories and reactions. Yet beneath the buzz lies a mix of confirmed facts, misinterpreted interviews, and outright rumors. As a seasoned actor known for his iconic mustache, gravelly voice, and steely presence in westerns and dramas, Elliot represents a bygone era of quiet masculinity and grounded authenticity. The recent resurfacing of this feud list has reignited conversations about generational clashes in Hollywood, the evolution of acting styles, and the broader tension between traditional storytelling and modern spectacle. While some names on this list do connect to real events, like his public criticism of the power of the dog, others appear to be stitched together from fan theories, creative differences, or thinly veiled speculation. This report will dissect each name one by one, separating fact from fiction, and delivering a full accounting of what's truly known versus what's been exaggerated or misrepresented. From documented interviews to public apologies and film collaborations, we'll explore whether Elliot truly harbors animosity, or if he's simply a principled man navigating a rapidly changing industry. Each section to follow unveils a chapter in this unfolding story, starting with a surprising take on one of television's most watched shows, and the veteran actor who leads it. The name Kevin Costner is impossible to ignore in this controversy, with fans and commentators citing Elliot's alleged disdain for the Yellowstone star as a key fracture in Hollywood's cowboy canon. But here's what's actually on record. Sam Elliott, in a number of interviews, has made it clear he's not a fan of Yellowstone, calling it overly dramatic, and even likening it to a soap opera. These remarks came despite the fact that Elliot starred in 1883, the official prequel to Yellowstone, and worked directly under Taylor Sheridan, the very same creative force behind both projects. However, it's crucial to highlight that Elliot never directly attacked Kevin Costner himself. In fact, interviews suggest a level of professional respect between the two. Even if their visions for the Western genre differ, Elliot's critique appears to be more stylistic than personal. While Yellowstone is a modern melodramatic and serialized drama packed with twists and family feuds, Elliot prefers stripped-down, character-driven narratives steeped in realism and grit. His version of the West is slower, harder, and less polished, more frontier than fashion runway. So while their names have been pitted against each other in fan circles, the idea of a feud between Elliot and Costner doesn't hold water when examined closely. What we have instead is a classic example of divergent artistic philosophies, exaggerated by internet hearsay into an invented rivalry that lacks any confirmed animosity between the two men. The only clearly documented conflict on this entire alleged list involves Benedict Cumberbatch and the 2021 film The Power of the Dog. Elliot took direct aim at the film during an appearance on Marc Maron's podcast, criticizing its portrayal of the American West and questioning the credibility of British actors trying to embody cowboy archetypes. He referred to the movie as a piece of *T and was particularly harsh about Cumberbatch's performance, suggesting it lacked the authenticity that Elliot feels defines the genre. These comments sparked an immediate backlash from fans and industry insiders alike, accusing Elliot of being regressive, closed-minded, and dismissive of modern interpretations of masculinity and Western storytelling. But in a rare move, Elliot publicly apologized just a few weeks later, expressing regret for his language and acknowledging the damage his words may have caused. He clarified that he had nothing against the gay community and admitted he was not articulate in his original critique. More importantly, he praised the filmmakers and Cumberbatch for their artistic efforts. This moment is unique, not just for the controversy, but for Elliot's willingness to admit fault and make amends, something that's increasingly rare in an industry often defined by pride and silence. Unlike other entries on this list, this incident is real, confirmed, and complex, showing both Elliot's protective instincts over Westerns and his humility when faced with the repercussions of his own missteps. When it comes to Ashton Kutcher, the idea that Sam Elliott holds contempt for the younger actor is speculative at best, considering the two worked side by side for years on Netflix's The Ranch. Elliott played Kutcher's fictional father in the series, a grizzled, hard-nosed rancher, navigating life with his wayward son. The show lasted for 8 seasons, earning steady viewership and providing Elliott a new platform in the streaming era. Not once, during or after the show's run, has Elliott made any public statements suggesting a personal dislike for Kutcher. If anything, their long-running collaboration points to a level of comfort and mutual respect, even if their acting styles diverge. Kutcher is known for his comedic timing and casual delivery, while Elliott's performances are rooted in stoicism and precision. Perhaps those differences have been misinterpreted by fans as a clash, but there is no confirmed evidence of off-screen tension. If there's friction, it has never been aired publicly. Instead, this pairing reflects a broader theme in Elliott's career: his adaptability and willingness to work across generational divides when the material feels grounded. Asserting that Elliott hated Kutcher during their years-long collaboration is a baseless claim that distorts the truth for dramatic effect, further feeding the social media rumor mill without factual backing. Nicolas Cage, another actor featured in this now infamous list, has long been considered a polarizing figure in Hollywood, with a performance style that swings wildly from quiet introspection to explosive eccentricity. He and Elliott shared the screen in the 2007 comic book film Ghost Rider, a supernatural western where Cage played the tormented anti-hero, and Elliott took on the role of the ghostly mentor known as the Caretaker. The film wasn't a critical darling, but it developed a cult following. Importantly, there are no credible reports of conflict between Elliott and Cage during filming or in the years that followed. What does exist is the perception of stark contrast: Cage's unorthodox and sometimes erratic choices versus Elliott's classic restrained delivery. These differences in craft and energy likely fueled the rumors of mutual distaste, but again, there's no interview, no source, and no quote from Elliott expressing disdain for Cage. In fact, Elliott has never publicly addressed Cage at all. This entry on the list feels more like a projection, a theory spun from stylistic differences rather than actual friction. It's one thing to note that the two actors approach their roles differently. It's another to leap to the conclusion that Elliott hates Cage. That leap is unsubstantiated. And like many on this list, it reflects the internet's tendency to mistake contrast for conflict. Jeff Bridges, perhaps the most surprising name on the alleged list, is another collaborator whose relationship with Sam Elliott has been historically celebrated rather than scorned. The two starred together in the 1998 cult classic The Big Lebowski, with Elliott portraying the mystical stranger who narrates the tale of Bridges' iconic character, the Dude. Their chemistry was a vital part of the film's charm, and the role cemented Elliott as a philosophical presence in pop culture. Throughout the years, both actors have spoken fondly about their time on set and the impact the film had on their careers. There has never been a credible report suggesting that Elliott and Bridges had a falling out, disagreement, or personal clash. If anything, the pair's screen dynamic has been held up as an example of old-school Hollywood camaraderie. The notion that Elliott suddenly hates Bridges seems entirely baseless and contradicts everything both men have said publicly. It's another case where the lack of recent joint projects is being misconstrued as evidence of animosity. In truth, actors often go years without working together again, not because of bad blood, but because their careers naturally diverge. Unless new verified information emerges, this supposed rift appears to be more fiction than fact, born from nostalgia-fueled speculation rather than hard truth. Jared Leto's inclusion in the supposed list of actors Sam Elliott reportedly dislikes adds a layer of controversy rooted in conflicting philosophies of acting. If Leto, known for his intense method approach, has become synonymous with extreme behind-the-scenes preparation that often makes headlines more than the roles themselves. From his Oscar-winning transformation in Dallas Buyers Club to his unsettling antics while filming Suicide Squad, Leto's style is both admired and criticized. Notably, during the production of Morbius, reports emerged that Leto stayed in character so obsessively that he used crutches even off-camera, to the point where he had to be wheeled to the bathroom just to maintain the illusion of his role. This behavior was confirmed by the film's director, Daniel Espinosa, and fueled online debates about whether Leto's commitment enhances or disrupts productions. In contrast, Sam Elliott has built a career on quiet intensity, letting nuance and stillness do the heavy lifting rather than theatrics. Though Elliott has never publicly criticized Leto by name, fans have speculated that the veteran actor would likely find Leto's method approach overindulgent or distracting. However, these are merely inferences, not verified facts. There is no evidence of a personal interaction between the two, let alone tension or animosity. The inclusion of Leto on Elliott's hate list is based solely on imagined conflict between their respective acting philosophies. One grounded in classic minimalism, the other in headline-grabbing immersion. While it's tempting to draw a line between the old guard and new extremes, the assertion that Elliott dislikes Leto personally remains unsubstantiated and speculative, a theory built on assumption rather than confirmed information. Beneath these alleged personal conflicts lies a deeper tension, a generational divide between Elliott's enduring code of authenticity and the evolving face of modern entertainment. Sam Elliott has repeatedly emphasized his belief in traditional storytelling, measured performances, and restrained emotional delivery. He views the Western genre not as a playground for high drama or spectacle, but as a space for moral clarity and hard-won truth. His criticism of shows like Yellowstone and films like The Power of the Dog wasn't just about content, it was about principle. Elliott has little patience for overproduced television, flashy aesthetics, or what he calls Hollywood noise, a term he's used to describe how contemporary filmmakers sometimes prioritize style over substance. He has often positioned himself as a steward of an older form of storytelling, where silence, subtlety, and physical presence matter more than digital effects or viral moments. In today's entertainment landscape, where franchises dominate and actors often become content creators and brand ambassadors, Elliott's approach can seem out of step, but to his fans, it's precisely what makes him irreplaceable. This cultural divergence is likely the root of many rumored conflicts on the hate list. It's not that Elliott necessarily dislikes these actors as people, it's that their methods and the industry that celebrates them represent a break from the values he has defended for decades. This ideological rift fuels misunderstandings, feeding a narrative of hostility when in reality it may just be a quiet disappointment with how far Hollywood has drifted from the storytelling traditions he holds sacred. As the headlines continue to circulate and social media platforms amplify claims of feuds and grudges, it becomes essential to separate what has been confirmed from what remains pure speculation. The only truly verified conflict in this entire narrative involves Benedict Cumberbatch, which, crucially, ended with a public apology from Sam Elliott. His critiques of The Power of the Dog were real and documented, as was his subsequent expression of regret. The situation with Yellowstone and Kevin Costner is less personal and more philosophical. Elliott dislikes the show's tone, but has never disparaged Costner himself. When it comes to Ashton Kutcher, Nicolas Cage, Jeff Bridges, and Jared Leto, there is simply no credible evidence of personal animosity. These supposed feuds appear to be stitched together from artistic contrasts, inferred generational differences, or the absence of public praise, none of which constitute proof of hatred or even dislike. The viral transcript that reignited this discussion offers a compelling narrative, but fails to clearly differentiate between first-hand quotes and fan-driven interpretation. While the idea of a grizzled veteran actor quietly keeping a blacklist of modern stars is sensational, it doesn't align with the available facts. What we can verify is that Sam Elliott speaks his mind, stands by his artistic values, and prefers a grounded, classic approach to filmmaking. The rest is conjecture, inflated by internet drama cycles that reward outrage over nuance. In a landscape where speculation is often mistaken for reporting, the truth gets lost unless it is purposefully reclaimed. And that's exactly what this analysis has aimed to do. In conclusion, the narrative of Sam Elliot naming 6 actors he allegedly despises may be more reflective of current internet culture than of any reality. Grounded, in fact, while it's true that Elliot has voiced strong opinions about the direction of modern filmmaking and has occasionally stirred controversy, particularly with his blunt comments about the power of the dog, the leap from principled critique to personal vendetta is unsupported by verified evidence. The majority of names on this so-called hate list have worked with Elliot or have had no known interaction with him at all. What binds them is not conflict, but contrast, generational, stylistic, and philosophical. Sam Elliott's cinematic legacy is rooted in a reverence for silence, stoicism, and substance. A worldview increasingly at odds with the frenetic pace and stylistic experimentation of today's film industry. That contrast may create friction, but it does not automatically translate into hatred. By examining the facts and separating them from viral fiction, we find a portrait of a man who still holds fast to his code, even as the world around him changes. Rather than a bitter veteran clinging to the past, Elliot emerges as a craftsman, fiercely loyal to his principles, misunderstood at times, but never malicious. The real story isn't about who he hates, it's about what he stands for. And perhaps that's the version of Sam Elliot the world needs to remember. Not the caricature presented by clickbait, but the artist whose quiet defiance still echoes louder than any rumor. And as the dust settles on this swirling tale of supposed grudges, one thing becomes crystal clear. Sam Elliot is not here for the noise, the trends, or the spectacle. He's here for the work. A man of few words, but lasting impact. Elliot remains a rare figure in Hollywood. Grounded, unshaken, and unafraid to speak his mind, even when the internet demands silence. Whether or not he truly hates anyone is beside the point. What matters more is what he represents. A commitment to craft, a resistance to hollow hype, and a legacy carved from grit rather than gossip. So the next time a headline screams controversy, take a moment to question the source, trace the facts, and look a little deeper. Because in the world of Hollywood legends, the loudest stories often drown out the truth. But as always, the truth tends to whisper, and Sam Elliot has never needed to shout to be heard. This video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. The content herein is based on publicly available interviews, reports, and speculative commentary, and does not claim to present definitive personal relationships or conflicts. All unverified allegations, rumors, or speculations are clearly framed as such. No defamatory intent is intended toward any individual mentioned, and all opinions are delivered with respect to their public personas and creative contributions. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the truth behind the headlines, hit that like button to support more fact-checked storytelling. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly breakdowns of Hollywood legends, viral controversies, and the stories the internet gets wrong. Got a theory, a correction, or a name you think should have been on this list? Drop it in the comments below. We read every single one. And share this with a friend who still believes the rumors. Let's bring nuance back to the conversation together.